everyone, I'm Sorrel. I'm a herbalist. I'm a shamanic practitioner and a healer and hypnotherapist, and I have been doing all that stuff for around 25 years. And this is Mama Cacao, and Mama Cacao is my favourite plant spirit medicine teacher, and I want to introduce you to her today, much more than myself. She is, I'm going to put her down because she's a little bit heavy, but she's melting in my hands as well. So she is, this particular version of ceremonial cacao is grown by the Ashanika tribe in Peru. It is grown all over the tropics and used ceremonially for plant spirit medicine work, for healing work, and I am absolutely blown away by her properties. So after 25 years of practice, I discovered her about a year and a half ago, working with 3 different shamanic practitioners, and since then I've been working with her almost every single day since, because she is so powerful. She's now the path I'm on now is very much guided by Mama Cacao, and the path is very beautiful and very blissful, and I encourage everyone else to come and try cacao and explore how she can help you and heal your life as well. So the properties, I want to share with you a little bit about her properties on a physical level. We know, we have done a lot of research into chocolate now because it is so popular and everyone loves it. So we know that it increases the connections in the brain. It's thought to be like a herb of connection, so that it helps you to have those aha moments, those enlightenment moments where you go, oh, now I understand, it all makes sense. It also works on a physical level to increase your dopamine receptors, increase your dopamine response rather, so that it makes you feel like you've been a good person, you've done well. It increases your serotonin levels so that you feel like you are happy and high. It increases your oxytocin levels so that you feel really loved up. Oxytocin is the herb of love, the hormone of love, and she makes you feel really loved up. She makes you feel like you have enough love to give the entire planet. You're like a giant fountain of love when you take her. On a more spiritual level, she helps us to cross the veil into the spirit realm. In shamanic terms, we think of the spiritual world and this world as slightly separated out by a veil. And our work within Cacao Ceremony is to attempt to cross that veil and work with the spiritual element of our life, so that we can bring back the wisdom from spirit into our physical reality as well, and to grow and to heal. So the ceremonies that I run with cacao are, well, I hold them in Margate currently, but I do run around and give them to other people separately to that. But every single month we're running them in Margate, and they have different intentions each time, and usually they are mostly led by the group. But this time we are, because it's Halloween at the moment, we are setting up our intention to cross the veil and to meet with the ancestors, so that we can heal them and they can heal us, and there can be, just a giant, I've worked with this one before, and it's absolutely an awesome journey to go on, because you connect up with your ancestors and you feel the love and you feel the connection, and it just opens up that connection forever as well, so that you always feel the connection of the ancestors, and you can always feel them focusing and loving you and sending their energy from the invisible realms into this current realm as well, to give you more energy and more strength. So that's what we're intentionally going to do this particular ceremony, but every ceremony is different. Every time the intentions are different. Sometimes I just wait for the group to come, and then we sit down together and we find our intention collectively. Sometimes it's really obvious what needs to be done, and this time of year it is really obvious. And there's been a lot of talk as well amongst my clients that they want to connect up with the ancestors, so we're theming it this time in that way. I run my ceremonies in a very shamanic style, so that what happens at ceremony, people come, we sit down, we all prepare ourselves for ceremony by doing a little meditation, and I call it in 7 directions, which is a shamanic way of kind of creating a magic circle, a magic sphere, and that can be like a vessel to receive the wisdom into that we are trying to get, and the healing into that we want to try and get through doing this practice. So we create our sacred space by calling in 7 directions together, and then I give everyone a lovely cup of cacao. It's between 35 to 42 grams, and you really don't have to take the whole cup even. The first time I did cacao, I only took about half the cup because I was really scared and I didn't know what I was doing with it, and I didn't even really know I was turning up to a cacao ceremony the first time I did it. So I was super careful about what I was doing, and took it in a microdose. And then since then, I've been trying it out in higher doses. I've not gone over the dose. No, once I did and I got a bit of a headache. But other than that, I've never gone over the dose because it works really, really well. You really don't need to take more than 42 grams in a cup. So we take the ceremonial cacao and then we lie down and I guide everybody within the sacred space on a guided meditation to start with. So I use my drums. You can see my drums behind me, depending on which session we're doing and what kind of intention we need. These drums have different energies, and we choose a drum that suits the energy of the journey that we're going on. And so we use the drum to make a shamanic drum beat, a really strong rhythm that helps to distract the conscious mind. And then while we're drumming and the conscious mind is distracted, our subconscious or a spiritual part of us can go on a little journey and experience that spiritual realm and bring back some wisdom for us into this reality. So it's very, very much like a guided meditation. It's very much like a hypnotherapy session, or maybe you've done yoga and you have done some yoga nidra or something. It's kind of similar in the trance state that you get to. It's really, really, really relaxing. And you feel so comforted and so loved in that moment as well, so healed in that moment. Sometimes you bring tears because as you open up your heart chakra, sometimes you've got something to release. So it brings it up, it bubbles up, but usually that crying lasts a few minutes and then you've just made space and then the joy comes and the love comes. So there's always tissues just in case, but it's not often that we get tears in ceremony. It's normally just huge amounts of love and joy flowing through us and bliss and ecstasy and all the good stuff coming through. So everyone's lying down. Everyone's had their cup of cacao. I'm drumming for everybody, giving them a guided meditation. And at some point, I let everyone just go off on their own journey. And then they explore their own intentions and their own experiences. And then they can bring that learning back into the group. So I might be drumming for about half an hour, 45 minutes. And then that gives them time to really go on a personal journey themselves and to get the lessons that they need. Occasionally, we fall asleep, because cacao needs to take us so deep that we just fall asleep and we do our healing. But every time I do this practice and I call people back, they're not still snoring at the end. They wake up and they come back, and they might not necessarily remember how they felt in the journey itself, but they'll come back with a certain feeling within them that they can then share with the group. So there's always healing being done, whether you do feel that you are a terribly good meditator or good visualizer. It really doesn't matter if you are or you're not. Everybody is different and everybody receives information in different ways. So some people have a more kinesthetic experience where they feel so joyful and so blissful. Other people have a more visionary experience where they know the next step that they need to go on. She's a very practical teacher as well, Mama Cacao, so she can help you to learn. If you have a question, what do I do with my life? She'll have an answer for you. So she's a really good therapist in that she will help you to find your own inner wisdom. So rather, because everybody has an opinion, right? But your opinion about your life is the only one that's truly valid and truly worthy. So because that's your path, that's what you really want to manifest in your life. Going and asking other people's opinions can often confuse you and make it harder for you to make decisions, and sometimes cause resistance on your path as well a little bit. So Mama Cacao, I think, is the perfect guide, the perfect teacher, the perfect therapist, because she allows you to tap into your own inner wisdom. She knows everything about you. She takes you into the spirit realm, and she allows you to access that gift. So I would love you to join me on a cacao ceremony. After we've done the vision questing, then we come back together and I invite people to share their experiences within our circle. It's not 100% necessary to share. You don't need to verbalize your experience, but I do encourage people to ground their experience in some way, because it's kind of similar to when you have a dream and you wake up. You remember it for the first 5 minutes and then it starts to fade a little bit. So it's good to bring some paper. I always provide paper and pens and things for people to do drawings or do writings afterwards. And I encourage everybody to share, not just for their own grounding, but also for the benefit of everybody else in the room, because often there's a story, a theme that we can all share together. So I hope that explains everything, and I hope to see you at Cacao Ceremony one day soon.